I'm Shay Russell for mining.com.au, and joining me today is Ivan Fairhall, the Managing Director for Pivotal Metals. Ivan, it's great to see you again. How are you?
I'm excellent, Shay. I'm excellent. Thanks for having me on.
Well, you would be excellent if you had raised $3 million in this market. Congratulations to Pivotal Metals. What are the basics of the capital raising?
Thank you, Shay. It is a great achievement. Very successful capital raise. We've raised $3 million from institutional and sophisticated investors, and that's allowed us to strengthen the balance sheet and execute on a pretty considered plan to target continuing to add value to the company and building on the results that we've had. And it is a challenging time for the sector, and so the perception of needing to raise money is really holding a lot of companies back, and I believe ours included, and that's why it's really fantastic to have raised money and looking forward to being able to execute.
Now, I've just noticed a curiosity on the announcement that came along with this capital raising, and that is the topic of flow-through shares. Now, I'm sure not many Australian investors are familiar with this. Could you expand on that for me?
It's a very important part of the raising that investors should understand, and it is worth taking a second to explain it. It's complicated in some respects and really simple in other respects. So flow-through shares is a scheme designed to incentivise investment in resources projects in Canada. And so for exploration, project development, all of that pre-mining expenditure that needs to go into these companies. Now, Quebec, for critical minerals, which our projects have, offers the largest incentives in Canada. And that means that we can issue shares at a 90% premium. So 50% of the raise effectively was issued at a 90% premium. So the way you should think about this is the impact on our financing is that we were able to raise an additional $1 million in extra financing for the same number of shares that we would have issued in an ordinary placement. So we turned $2 million into $3 million, or put another way, the Canadian government is effectively paying half of our exploration costs. The money that we're spending in the ground in Canada, the government's paying half of that. So it really doesn't get better than that.
It was an excellent result. While I've got you here, I'd really love to talk about your results that came out from your most recent drilling program over at Horden Lake. Now, these look like they've expanded the resource. Can you give me a couple of key highlights on them?
Sure, yeah. We put out some more exciting drill results. We put out a lot of results leading up to this, and this continues, in particular on the results that we put out last time. They're all in the same area. It's the northern part of the deposit, and we were drilling the gap between the two open pits. So actually the Horden Lake deposit actually sits within two open pits and some underground mineralisation as well, and that area had no drilling. So hole 123 was a really shallow hole. We intersected multiple zones of mineralisation really quite close to surface, 20 metres at almost 1% copper equivalent, and another 46 metres and another 20 metres below that hole, and then working a little further to the north, closer to the northern pit, we hit hole 116, intersected multiple zones of mineralisation, 8 metres at nearly 1% copper equivalent. That included 4 at 3.6%, so some really high grade stuff in there, and then another second section below that. So lots of mineralisation and extending out the known resources. And so, yeah, very encouraging to see the deposit continue to grow.
I just want to sort of double down on what you've just said, and that is essentially you've had one pit and the other pit essentially come together with these latest results, so it'll now be one big pit, won't it?
Exactly. The reason these results are important, you're right onto it, is that they fill an important gap in the drilling. So, and they show the deposit extends into that gap. And so where it gets really exciting is that infilling that mineralisation opens up the potential for the two pits to join. And that has meaningful implications on the strip ratio. So if you take two with a whole big area in there with no mineralisation, but the pit lays back, and you can get rid of that, you can really sort of double the effect when you go to mine this. So it is a really, really positive development to see that gap in between the resources fill in.
And finally, now that the bank is full, you've got $3 million in the bank. One thing I love about explorers is when they're spending money. Tell me, how are we going to be spending this money over the coming months?
Oh, that's it. We're going to continue with our exploration program, our work program. There's still a few holes to be released, and as soon as we've got the results of those, we're going to roll that into a resource update that will run in parallel. The work for that will run in parallel to the MET test work. So once we've got the MET test work results that are also in progress, we'll combine them into a resource update with the drilling that showed lots of upside. We've extended mineralisation, we've added all those byproduct credits. So there's lots of new information to bring into the resource, and that news will be out later in the year. We're also really planning our next exploration program, and that's going to start with a geophysical survey over the whole property, because we've had these very exciting regional targets develop, and we want to build on those. We want to target better with geophysics, and then look to follow up exploration there. So we believe the property's got lots more to give. Everywhere we've drilled in this program, we've hit mineralisation, and we just want to keep building the story, because there's meaningful scale developing on top of a project which has very favourable fundamentals to it.
Listen, Ivan, I cannot wait to see what drill results come out next. Horden Lake continues to deliver. Thank you so much for being here, and hopefully we speak next time.
Thanks, Shay. Thanks for having me on.